The Childhood of Jesus by Jakob Lorber, Chapter 182. Storms of the Soul, a sign of God's love. Joseph now came over also, and with Mary wept for joy, because he was given to see his friend Cyrenius again after 2 years. Here the little child said to Cyrenius, "Cyrenius, it is enough that you bow your heart before me in all love, but you may keep your knees straight. See, you have a large following with you, which still does not know me, and you shall not give me away through such posture. So arise from the ground and do as Joseph, Jonathan, and Mary, and all the others are doing, and have your wife arise also." Cyrenius now arose with Talia, whereupon he promptly took the little child on his arms and caressed him. With the little child on his arm, he stepped closer to Joseph and said, "Greetings to you from the bottom of my heart. How many times indeed has my heart longed for you, but the unfortunate matters of state have piled up so greatly during the past 2 years that I never knew how to win the time to follow this high and holy demand of my heart. Only by now was I able to put everything so far in order that I could visit you, my divine friend, for a short time. But even now that I followed the urge of my heart, I would almost have perished if, without a doubt, this most holy little child had not sent a rescuer to meet me. O my friend and brother, I have had much indeed to withstand during these last 2 years. Persecution, betrayal, slander with the emperor, and many other most unpleasant things did I have to endure. Such times I always thought of what the most holy little child once said to me 2 years ago, namely, that he pinches and teases those he loves. And truly, all these storms around my soul were nothing else than all sorts of caresses from this my Lord of all lords. For wherever a wave rose up against me and threatened to devour me hide and hair, there it was smashed by another still mightier counter wave, and nothing remained but only vain, empty shadows. And now I am finally here, totally unharmed, after having withstood a great danger which threatened to swallow us all, and am in your, to me truly divine company. Now all the storms which frightened me are becalmed, as if they had gone to an eternal rest." Here Joseph embraced Cyrenius and replied, "Yes, brother in the Lord, as you now have spoken, so it also is. I did in fact always know within myself what was taking place with you, but I always praised the Lord thereat for loving you so much. Now look over there toward noon and morning, and you will easily recognize the city, and still more easily your own villa. So have your ship taken care of, and come with me, and we will have a real heart-to-heart talk at home." When Cyrenius looked over and quickly recognized the villa, he was amazed and could not get over his surprise at all this. Chapter 183. The Mystery of the Gale. Only when Cyrenius, in his great surprise, had looked in all directions and convinced himself of the correctness of all this, did he begin to speak more coherently, and said to Joseph in a bewildered tone of voice, "Yes, my truly noble friend and brother, it shall promptly be done as you wish. But 2 things must first be made right. In the first place, my great rescuer must be rewarded, and that in a manner worthy of an emperor. And secondly, I must find out from you beforehand just how it was actually possible that I was driven of course to this place where I least expected to be. See, already beginning at Tyre, I constantly had a strong east wind, which gradually changed into a regular gale. I had already been driven about by this adverse wind for 10 whole days on the high sea, God knows to where, and when, with the help of this great rescuer, I finally had land beneath my feet again by last midnight, I thought that I was in Spain and close to the Pillars of Hercules at that. And now I am, instead of supposedly in Spain, exactly there where I actually wanted to go. Oh brother, oh friend, give me only a little enlightenment in this matter. And Joseph answered, Friend, first have your ship inspected by your crew to see if everything is in order. Then, with the grace of the Lord, I will tell you something about your sea voyage. Here Cyrenius responded to the wise Joseph, Oh friend, you seem very strange to me today. Are you testing me, or what is it that you have in mind with me? Today is after all the Sabbath of you and my Lord, upon which you placed great importance wherever you were in the past. And truly, I do not understand you, and also do not know what you want to force a task upon me today. See, this one here, who rests on my arms holy, most holy, has surely put my ship in order long ago, because I love him above all. What then will I accomplish by being anxious? I was in great danger and worried much, but all my worry was vain, for only he and he alone rescued me. Hence I shall not worry any more about anything in the future, and shall certainly leave the ship alone today. Is it not right this way? And the little child kissed Cyrenius and said, Joseph has only tested you in my name because you wanted to reward Jonathan before you went to the villa with him. Now I say to you that you shall not reward Jonathan at all, for I am his reward myself. So just bestir yourself and go with Joseph, and everything will be made clear to you at home. And Cyrenius immediately did what the little child advised him to do, and all went to the villa. Chapter 184. The Way of the Lord with Cyrenius. When, with the exceptions of Jonathan's servants, the entire party had arrived at the villa, Joseph at once told his sons to prepare a good noon meal, and Jonathan gave them the generous load of the most choice tuna fish which he had taken along for that purpose. After this Joseph went with most of the members of Cyrenius' company, and of course with Cyrenius himself, with Mary, with Jonathan, and with the little child, which Cyrenius still carried on his arms, up his favorite little hill. And Eudokia and Tullia, as well as the 8 children, did not remain in the house either, but also followed the company up the little hill, which had a large free space at the top. Arrived there, they all sat down on the benches made by Joseph and refreshed themselves beneath the fragrant shade of rose, myrtle, and papyrus trees. For the top of the hill was divided into 2 parts. One was thickly foliated and was meant for the daytime, while the other was free and was meant for the evening and night time, so one might enjoy the fresh air and the unrestricted view of the land as well as of the sky. As they sat amid the beautiful covered foliage of the hill, Cyrenius asked Joseph whether he would not give him the desired enlightenment now concerning his sea voyage. And Joseph answered, Yes, brother, here is a place and a time for that, so hear me. See, the east wind signifies the grace of God. This drove you stormily to him whom you now hold on your arms. Now there still are ever so many who do not know and recognize the Lord's grace, nor when and how it operates. Thus you also did not know what the Lord's boundless grace intended for you. You thought yourself lost, and supposed that the Lord had wholly forgotten you. And behold, when you were stranded on the sandbar by the boundless grace of the Lord, and gave yourself up for lost, the Lord seized you with great power, and rescued you from every downfall. For thus has always been, and will always be the way of the Lord, by which he leads those who have been and will be on the road that leads to him. Now, why did the Lord lead you thus? See, as it became known about Tyre that you would go here by ship, paid assassins assembled, took vessels, and wanted to murderously assault you on the high seas. At this the Lord suddenly sent a strong east wind, which very quickly pushed your ship away from your enemies, so they were wholly unable to reach it. But since your enemies did not let you out of their sight, but constantly followed you all the more fiercely, the Lord's grace over you then turned into a gale. This gale drowned your enemies in the sea, and put your ship at rest in the right place where you were fully rescued. Cyrenius, now do you understand this, your sea voyage?